Ways that we can support fine motor skills is we will oftentimes create and establish some adaptations. Pencil grips are a great solution for some kiddos who have a hard time holding the pencil, as we discussed before, where we want it to rest very firmly and nicely in our hand, our fingers are positioned well, and we're set up in a way where we can write with our fingers and move them adequately. Sometimes kiddos have a really hard time with doing this. So we might want to give them some supports that will help position their fingers a little bit more appropriately. I really like the grotto grip as one great solution. I will say that there's about 100. I would guesstimate. I think there may be less than that, but let's say 100. I would say there's so many grips, pencil grips that are out there and available. These are just a few that I like, but there's a lot available. I strongly recommend checking in with your OT if you haven't already, or certainly giving us a call at MeBe so we can help support you and kind of best come up with the best pencil grip for you, because there's so many out there. The grotto grip is one great grip. There's also a claw grip that has little individual sections for your fingers to rest while you hold the pencil. We can make grips. This one in particular is using a combination of therapy putty, clay, and rubber band. Great options too. Therapyshop.com is a really great resource for some of my favorite pencil grips. Amazon has the best deals, but Therapy Shop might also support you with narrowing in some of your focus when it comes to coming up with adaptations. Some other ways that we adapt when we're talking about things like fine motor skills that might be having some challenges, we will break crayons or make the crayons smaller. By making smaller crayons, what we automatically encourage, as you can see here with this little one, they're using their fingertips. A lot of our kiddos are going to hold on to crayons with their whole hand if they have the entire crayon to hold on to. So by breaking the crayon and using smaller utensils, that will oftentimes better position their fingers to color, to draw, to write. So we might make those really simple suggestions. There's also adaptive writers like this particular pencil that positions our fingers and spaces them just so that takes some of the pressure off of our wrists. A lot of our older kiddos, especially if they have a really tight grasp on a pencil, or they have a really poor grasp, or they're positioning their fingers and they're holding really, really hard, might complain about wrist and thumb pain. Their forearms fatigue easily. So one thing we might utilize is some adaptive pencils to support that, eliminate some of the stress on the joints and allow for ease of use. We also look at things for fine motor skills like cutting. There's adaptive scissors that we'll often use. These particular scissors are a great option. Therapy Shop is a place that you can locate these. They're on Amazon as well, where it's scissors that are more like traditional scissors, but they have this little spring in them that you can engage or disengage. And when you engage the spring, it automatically helps the scissors open and close, so that so kids don't have to focus on the opening and the closing, they can focus on just the closing, because it'll help spring it open, close, spring it open. That allows kids that have limited fine motor skills or fatigue easily with cutting. This can be a really good bridge to using more traditional scissors. We also use things like slant boards in OT. If our kiddo is having a hard time coloring on a flat horizontal surface, sometimes bringing the surface up in a reclined position towards them positions their fingers in such a better way that will allow them to hold the pencil in a more successful way when doing things like coloring and writing. This is one that you can purchase, but certainly I've made plenty of DIY slant board out of just binders and some paper clips. So lots of good options there. And certainly if you go to therapyshop.com, it'll really help narrow the field, because there's so many things that are out there.